Welcome to the next episode of the podcast. I'm delighted to have the founder, military veteran, and the founder of Combat Fuel, Alex Berezynskyj. Welcome, Alex.
Cool. Thank you for having us, guys.
I mean, it was a bit of a struggle getting you online. Thankfully, we've done it.
Yeah.
But so, Alex, you served for 7 years. You served for 7 years with the Anglins, and for the last 7 years, you've been running Combat Fuel.
Yeah, specifically the Vikings, one Royal Anglian, the guys that went on tour. But no, like jokes aside, like both battalions, the poachers, I've got a lot of friends in the poachers. We've got athletes from the poachers, from both. It's, wicked regiment, a very, very grown-up regiment as well. We didn't have any of this fill your boots Friday weapon cleaning nonsense and bullshit. We were a grown-up battalion. Do your fizz, turn up, right place, right time, right kit, basics done well, and that's very much followed through into the company. And then, like Combat Fuel's just like sort of become a thing. Over the last 7 years, it hasn't been plain sailing and smooth and easy, but it's been fun to say the least.
So, Alec, Matt said about obviously 7 years in an infantry battalion. Can you give us a highlight of your military career?
Herrick's, I think, probably a massive highlight for everyone. It was a very privileged few individuals to be able to go and deploy on Herrick's in Helmand. We're part of a very exclusive club now, aren't we? Obviously, mine wasn't a Herrick 6 to what our first boys did, the old Ross camp in Afghanistan. However, that is what made me want to join. There was lads that from my school that had joined, done Herrick 11, then I went and did Herrick 16, and it was best times of my life. Like very stressful, very challenging, but also anyone that's done a Herrick will just understand. Like you wouldn't change it for the world. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Not.
It's very much
the same with all tours.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think same with all tours.
Absolutely. I think Herrick stands out a lot more for a lot of people because it's like probably the most recent warfighting conflict that we've had, and dare I say it, it's probably not going to be another one in our lifetimes. Despite all the shit with Russia, Ukraine, everywhere, it's still probably not going to happen in our lifetimes. I think we were all very privileged to get out there and experience it and fight for whatever our motives were for joining. We still want to do it and experience it.
It's an interesting one, Alex, because it's like we spoke to one of our other guests, and they talk about when you're on operational tour versus being on camp, and that accountability you have, that responsibility you have on ops. Paul and I both served in Afghanistan as well as Iraq, and all the other places, as veterans. And like you said, I think it's an interesting point that it does bring you together, and being on tour really brings that unit together versus being on camp.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree. But also to a point that, like I said, we're a very grown-up battalion. The Vikings were. There was none of this weapon cleaning on a Friday. No, just doing jobs for doing jobs' sake. There was the odd stuff where you had to be educated at a company level when things got a bit too spicy in the block over a weekend, and like we were flying downstairs on doors and stuff. But yeah, to be fair, like I was always quite boring, to be fair, in battalion, especially when I first joined. Like I loved my fizz, loved what I was doing. It was more towards the end of it when I started having more of an involvement with alcohol and making memories, we'll call it. But no, we were, grown-up battalion, treated like an adult, It was very, very enjoyable. It's probably the only way to do it.
Mate, so 7 years deploying on ops, that's first of all, that's a commendable amount of time to serve. And serving on ops is where, your bread and butter, and it's where we earn our craft and you make those memories. But let's talk Combat Fuel. So from an infantry soldier, where did the idea come from behind having what's going to be a global brand in Combat Fuel?
I've always been interested in sports nutrition. I've used supplements for many, many years, and obviously everyone would come behind the old informed sport. You're going to fail your CDT if you dare buy a protein powder that's not on it. And when I left, it's not what I did. I got medically discharged, and then the first thing I did was actually be a personal trainer, and I was very, very successful at it. I made a lot of money, which wasn't the name of it. It just happened to be, I enjoyed it, and I did really well with it. I still have 4 of the same clients that I started when I left like nearly some of the 6 years ago now. So guys that have stuck around with me for that long. It's not my main focus anymore. They're just people I've done for so long that I enjoy it. And one day I was training I'm going to get it wrong. He was the old CO, I think, of One Rifles. It was one of the Rifles regiments, I forget. And I told him, I was like, look, I want to do this sports nutrition brand. And I was like, I don't know, this and that. It's just proper making up excuses of why I shouldn't do it. And he literally turned around to me. We were sat on a machine and he just said, stop being a pussy. And that was like my moment of like, fuck, like, why don't I just do it? Like, it's only money. It doesn't really matter. I'm happy in what I'm doing in my personal training, but I didn't really have any sort of fulfillment. I'm like, I think I can do a lot of stuff to support charities to help the blokes. And from the old don't be a pussy, just do it. And so massive credit to Oz. That's what made me do it. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, life savings, dumped it into it. Like, what could possibly go wrong? And I very quickly found out absolutely everything could go wrong. You can't just start a business with no knowledge on business and expect it to work, which is exactly what I thought. I was like, well, I know what I'm on about, so I'm just going to do it and it'll work. And I was like trying to buy like labels like from the post office or from Parcel to Go, and we've still got some customers that have been with us since like day dot. And a massive shout out to Dean Reggie, our original athlete, has been with us since the start. So printed labels on there, and it was badly screwed over by a manufacturer, not making what we'd asked for. Not in terms of safety, but in terms of telling us to downplay our formulas, telling us that like my research was wrong, it was incorrect, and this is how you should go if you want to be safe. And it was like wow, people really will.
So from that, Alex, like, what lessons? Because it's kind of neat, kind of ties in neatly. So what lessons have you learned? Like
easy.
In the last...
Trust yourself. 100%. Like the biggest growth that we've had, like very cliche, like me as an individual, but even more so as a company, is when I just started saying, okay, listen to what people have to say, take it with a pinch of salt, and trust yourself. When you start believing in yourself, you stop caring about essentially what other people think, but more so you believe in what you're trying to do. You'll one, be free, and two, you'll go to heights that you couldn't even possibly have imagined. Like if you'd sat here even like 4 years ago saying, oh, do you realise that combat fuel's going to be sold in like across the UK into Australia, New Zealand, Republic of Ireland, Bahrain, like literally worldwide? Whatever, of course it will. But it is, and it's been a thing. It was, had some questionable business partners along the road, had a divorce thrown in the mix for a bit of banter, and it's, I mean, to be fair, if you haven't been divorced, you're not a real man, so...
I can attest to that. Definitely one divorce down. Paul is still very happily married, but he's one of the rarity,
It is.
With combat fuel, right, here's one for you, Alex. So did you, in that conversation you had with Oz, where he was like, just go for it, was the plan to say, I want to release a brand, or was it, I really want to make a supplement that's like, that competes with protein or is a better way of delivering creatine? Do you know what I mean? Or was it about having a brand?
No, neither. Again, it's so bad, and it's like the worst business thing you could possibly do. I make products that I like for me, and I just hope that they'll be commercially viable, and that's it. Now it goes a little bit further to, I will contemplate and listen to other people when it comes to flavourings. Like, we've got a big discussion at the moment about doing a cherry clear weight, and I'm like, anybody that likes a cherry flavoured supplement's wrong. Like, that, it's not nice. But we're going to still put a good amount of money into it. But that's just in terms of flavour. And in terms of products now, every product we've ever made or released has been, I've made it for me. Like, all of our formulas are our own. Things like protein are arguably like, it's protein. You can make the best quality you can with something like protein. I wanted to make a cost-effective protein that was high quality. So it's a whey protein, concentrate and isolate with no bullshit in it. And it's pretty good at a very good price. Tastes wicked. Then you've got other products like our Zinc and Magnesium Ultra, which shout out to Rick, where I've listened to someone else. I had my own. He helped me make it even better. one of my behind the scenes business partners, and that's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So we had a sleep product that I wanted to release, and we had a thing called 5-HTP in it. The only issue with 5-HTP is you can get a side effect. So that makes serotonin, which makes melatonin. The side effect of 5-HTP is you can cause serotonin syndrome, and the side effect of that is you can die. So we didn't want to make anything where that's specifically if you take antidepressants. So you don't just get serotonin syndrome.
Yeah.
And obviously, speaking for myself, a lot of military guys have had antidepressants at some point in their life. So what I always wanted to do is mitigate the risk of having anyone's blood on my hands, so to speak. But sleep's a massive issue for guys that are serving. So I was thinking Magnesium Ultra is an absolutely brilliant product for not putting you to sleep, but once you're asleep, keeping you asleep. And there's no, I can't make wild claims, but anyone that's used it who suffers from PTSD and night terrors there's been a markedly reduced amount of night terrors and of what they remember, waking up a lot calmer, more refreshed, and absolutely fantastic product. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So again, it's making products for myself, but the community use it well. And that's not just obviously military. We've got a massive 40% civilian customer base as well, who buy into the brand, buy into myself, the products, and
One of your products I really like is the hydrate stuff and the cola cube flavor. Yeah. It's something magical, man. I now when it comes to training, I do a lot of running. Okay, so I do a lot of running. I don't usually go to the gym. I'm a bit what's the word I refer? It's like there's a time poverty crisis with regards to, because I've got 2 young kids and been able to get to the gym and do that. So I take my opportunities when I get it to run, and I would take the normal electrolytes like High Five, whatever you can get online. You know what I mean? Just as a pre whatever and post. But the hydrate stuff, it's a taste sensation, man. and it makes you feel better. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing. Like an instant impact from a supplement I've ever had, ever.
Because we just make products that are good. And it sounds so easy and so cheesy because everybody will sit there and say, oh, we've got the best product, we've got the this, we've got the that. We always say, if anybody ever questions it, which they should, and you want to see why our products are good, that's fine. Just go to the brand you're currently using, like you said, High Five, take that for example, compare their hydration product to our Hydrate, and then you make your own decision. Ours will win hands down every single time. There's some other brilliant brands out there. We're saying we're not the best and you should only ever use Combat Cool. There's some absolutely fantastic other brands out there. They're competitors, but they're also we'd far rather people use good products and we have a bit of that market share than, no, we're the best, everyone else is terrible, because it's not the truth. But in terms of Hydrate or Die, so it's a well-dosed electrolyte product, 4 or 5 times the amount of what the other brands may have, but then the key addition of Performelon, which acts as almost like a citrulline, basically. It opens up your capillaries, arteries, to deliver your electrolytes to where they need to go. And then what we really have in there that's key is an osmolyte. The osmolyte in this is taurine. So we've got a massive 3 gram dose of taurine within Hydrate. And what that does, in layman's terms, is it's intracellular hydration. So it pulls your electrolytes into your cells and actually hydrates you rather than comes in and you piss it out before your body's had a chance to absorb them. So that's why it works so well. And it's not an expensive thing to do. So I don't know why other brands don't do it. Probably because even if it is a few p in a serving, it's still a few p in a serving over thousands of units. They're like, oh, we'll make more money. But yeah, for us, it's not about making as much money as we can. We make products that are good. And some of them are commercially terrible.
Yeah. I talk about commercially terrible and versus commercially brilliant is you have a brand or one of your flavors is unicorn piss, and I think it's brilliant. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's to have the banter to go and just say we're just going to call it unicorn piss. See where it goes. I think that's mega.
He's our business partner with Strong Sports. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely amazing. It's one of our best sellers. And then another co-branded flavor we've done as well, Spine Grapple with REORG charity. We donate half of all of our product profit to them as well on those 2 flavors. But yeah, have you tried unicorn piss then?
No, I tried to buy it. It was out of stock.
Oh, it seems to always be out of stock. But it's a good problem to have, though, right? It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Definitely a good problem to have.
It's like that dress that was circulating where everyone was like, oh, it's either gold or black or blue or something, whatever it was. Everybody tastes something different on unicorn piss. Some people have said coconut, There's no coconut in it, so they're definitely wrong. But we've had people say like strawberry laces, Skittles, Dib Dabs. It's so cool to hear how many different things people think it is. There's only 4 of us that know what it is. So yeah.
In regards to combat fuel, what's next? What's next? What's the trajectory? Can you see?
Again, I'm like the worst person to have on a podcast because there isn't like we're going to do this, we're going to make this much and do this much, and we just make product. As it sells, we make more, and we try and support the guys along the way. So our athletes, the way we work with our athletes is they have their deals. Everyone's on the same, from like your Graham Hicks, Mark Ormrod level down to a guy that's got 1,000 followers. Everyone's treated the same. Everyone has the same opportunity, and like we try and pay for them to go and compete. And we're very much like our athletes are us because they're a representation of the brand. So we try and look after them as best we can. We do like families days for them where they can bring all of their family down, kids, everything, have a barbecue, have a nice time. We've got a few more products to launch. Where at the moment, by the time this goes out, it's probably 5. We might have done it. We're redoing our multivitamin, so from changing it from an RDA, a recommended daily amount, we're changing it to an ODA, optimal daily amount. And like where, again, money does come into it a little bit, where we've grown to a reasonable size, we're now able to change that and make it a more optimal dose. So rather than people having to have 4 or 5 capsules, they can just have the same serving, and it's going to cost like I think £3 more for 3 months supply, so £1 a month more to make it a more efficaciously dosed product, which is brilliant for us. So carry on making good products and hoping that people continue enjoying them.
Alex, it's we had an episode. We had Tom Collins on, and he raved about your stuff, and he's the one who initially put us in contact. And he's one of your, I guess, what's the word? I guess one of your ambassadors, one of your brand ambassadors, or one of your athletes. How do you go about selecting your athletes? Do they come to you, or are you like this person's doing good?
A bit of both. Like we watch a lot of people all the time. A few guys in the teams, but Pete as well. No one ever sees Pete. He's absolutely brilliant. We watch a lot of people, seeing what they're about. But one of our key bits is like, if you're not a customer already and you've not used our products, how do you know they're any good? So every single person that's an athlete and represents the brand has used our products before. And if they haven't, and we've been very keen because they haven't heard of us for whatever reason, being with someone else, we'll hook them up some products, get them to try them, get them to review them. We're very confident. Confident, not arrogant as well. Key point, like confident because our products are good. Get them to come back with any feedback they have, and we've never had anyone come back and say, actually, no, this is shit, I want to go to my protein, because it's just not a thing. And so Tom's one of them. Tom approached us, didn't know who he was, politely, said, look, I want to be a part of the brand, what can we do? And that's sort of where where our affiliate scheme was born from. So there's people we're looking at, we put them on our affiliate scheme first, and then if they do really well, we bring them on as an athlete. And that doesn't mean that they have to have a massive following. Like we've got guys that have got like 30 posts on social media, do absolutely nothing, have no online presence, but they're our people. Like one of them, John Lovell, who's going to be announced pretty soon, if he hasn't already by the time this goes out. Absolutely phenomenal natural bodybuilder. He does maps or something in the army. I don't know what. But he's an absolutely brilliant athlete, and that's what I mean. Like, so from people like that as an athlete for the brand, they're not going to sell us loads of products, which is what I think a lot of brands look for. We look for people being our people. So we've just got a family of wicked individuals that, do stuff, look after each other, and obviously we do a bit of charity work now, which we try to not advertise. Because again, if you're going to buy our products, you should buy them because the products are good. Our USP isn't buy from us because we've donated tens of thousands to charity, which is lovely, and it's humbling to be in a position to do that. But primarily buy the products because they're good, not because our USPs buy from us because we'll give it to charity.
I think, Alex, one of the things, we're coming towards the end of the time now, and I know you're tight for time, running a very successful business, but there's something that really jumps out to me that's come out over the last sort of 25 minutes is your knowledge in your product, by the way. Your scientific knowledge and how you explain and your understanding of your product is phenomenal. It's something we see on the podcast when we speak to people and we talk about like that business is it your head over heart. You know, I've come up with this product and I really want it to work. But your knowledge, mate, I feel like I've been in like a workshop where I've learned stuff.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal, mate. It really, I'm just saying, Alex, you're sharp, mate.
Thank you. And no one knows everything. Me, most certainly, don't. Always learning, always trying to innovate and make better products. And I'm not afraid as well to, if I don't know something, I go and ask, like to Rick. He's, I'd say, far more knowledgeable than me. But yeah, the more you put in, the more you get out. But yeah, it's nice to hear it, that it comes across that I know what I'm on about. I kind of do.
You certainly do. The final part of the podcast is almost like that Dragon's Den elevator pitch piece. Now, it's up to you. It's over to you. Tell us why should anybody, if they're not using it, why should we start using Combat Fuel?
Because our products are arguably some of the best out there. If you're serving, the main USP we have is you don't pay for that silly little badge that says our products are safe. We are literally millions and millions of workouts, as it would come down to, being fueled, hundreds of thousands of products sold. A lot of that into the military, never failed a CDT. It's been 6.5 years, so you don't have to go to a certain badge, certain testing and verification company to make sure you're safe. The Navy and Royal Marines have us on their CDT briefers. You should buy from that company or Combat Fuel as an individual company if you want to be safe. The difference with us is we actually make good products at a good price compared to them. So, yeah, that's about it. And if anyone has any questions, just reach out. Like, we're only a message away. Someone, normally myself, will respond. Like, it's never too late in the evening or too early in the day. We'll always get back to you. And if we don't, just pester us. Like, happy to help if people have questions. So we care. It's probably why you should buy from us. Good products, and we care about what we make, and we care about our customers.
I think evidence of that is the fact that, like you said, you're called Combat Fuel. You're a military veteran. Initially, it's military based, but to have 40% of your customers outside of the military, I think that's a testament in itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, you're not just a brand for the military.
Yeah, it's huge, and what we're a few hundred retailers and gyms that stock Combat Fuel now, and we've got some distributor partners we work with across the world. As I said, from Bahrain to Australia, New Zealand, into Europe. America one day will actually be a thing. COVID ruined that for us. But yeah, it's crazy. And so anyone that does e-commerce would understand like customer retention rates. And our customer retention rate's like 57%, which is wild. So I'm told. I don't really know because I don't pay any attention to it. But yeah, 57% returning customer retention rate is wildly high. Which just shows how many people, once people start using Combat Fuel, they don't normally tend to go anywhere else. And if they do, it's normally because they're buying from a retailer of ours where they might have some protein bars or something that we don't stock. So yeah, it's humbling to see where it's got to.
That you don't stock yet.
Do you know what? We probably wouldn't ever make a protein bar because it's been done by Grenade and they've done it very well. And we're all about innovation rather than replicating. It's not our thing. Most people can make a protein bar anywhere. So we make things like protein clusters and protein peanut butter cups, which are just, again, it's something different. We hadn't seen it being done. It didn't taste better than a protein bar. Chewing through it, and it's all like chewing a bit of dry cardboard. But Grenade do make good. They do make good protein bars, And that's another thing. Like, they're a competitor brand. Ours a wicked guy, like phenomenal, making a household brand. But yeah, you should never be afraid to say if someone's done something good. Just because because someone's light's burning brighter than yours doesn't mean that yours gets any dimmer because you clap for someone else, though, right?
Love that. Absolutely love it. Alex, thank you so much for your time. It's been like a real insight, first of all, into the science behind lots of your products, but also into the journey behind it, and that risk versus reward. You invested your life savings in this. And there's with no guarantee, a competitive market with no guarantee that it would work. And here you are, mate, fruits of your labour.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I work ridiculous hours now, but like when everyone's been through their struggles yourselves as well. It's when you don't really work much and you get up out of bed and you're like, don't want to do this, can't do it. It's never straight sailing. So everybody is jealous of the view. Nobody's jealous of the climb, though, right?
Love it, mate. Thank you so much, Alex.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much, mate, for your time.
Much
You're
appreciated.
welcome. Cheers, guys.